How to feed your delicious little grindal worms. You need some oats. I made a little too much, but nothing in the world. I also made it in my rice maker, so it's odd. Usually I undercook them in the microwave, but I properly cooked them. I made a little bit too much in my rice maker. So Nutritional or brewer's yeast. Flakes, whatever. I like to mix it in with the mixture I make, including Greek yogurt with bacterial filters. But you don't have to. You can just sprinkle it on top. You don't even have to add oats. You just do yogurt and bread. But I like to mix oats, Greek yogurt in this. Make one fine, disgusting yellow mixture. It doesn't even smell bad. It just smells like yogurt, which smells like yogurt. Yogurt's kind of soury, stink, and a little bit of nutritional yeast, so it's kind of warmish. And then you spread it on some bread. Take this. No exact measurements. You can kind of eyeball it. It doesn't matter if the main of it is yogurt or oats. It really doesn't matter. You just stir it, because yogurt separates, and there's a liquid, a disgusting liquid. You gotta mix that in. It'll separate anyway. You're gonna have to mix every so often. But you gotta mix your yogurt. Just scoop some in, fill up whatever container you're using. This last, yogurt doesn't really go bad for a long time unless you leave it uncovered or contaminate it. Like if you eat with your mouth or eat with a spoon from the container, put it in your mouth, put it back in the container, that contaminates it with your oral bacteria. And those can take over the colony. There's good bacteria, or bacteria already in here. And that's what the worms feast on. Most kinds of yogurt are considered microbially rich. And so it's got streptococcus, thermophilus, lactobacillus, different kind of lactobacillus, bifidus, another kind of lactobacillus. Yummy things for the grindals to munch on. Then you take your delicious nutritional yeast and mix it in. Again, all eyeballing. It literally doesn't matter. The worms do not care. They seem to prefer their bread mixture, this on over bread, than the fish food. At least the strain I have do. They go much faster. In fact, I was feeding less bread food because it's been hot and fruit flies are annoying. So I've been feeding less of this. And they've just worms can't really be moody in the way like a mammal can, but they just weren't into it. They weren't eating it as fast. I was using some old omega-1 pellets that I don't feed my fish anymore. We all switched to bug bites, and then I ran out of those, so I switched back to the fluval bottom feeder pellets I used occasionally. This doesn't look yellow enough to me, so I'm going to add... the nutritional yeast, it's not a necessity, but it honestly kind of makes them... There's one of my birds. Makes them kind of go crazier, breeding-wise. Do I want to add more yogurt? I'm not sure. I'm going to add more nutritional yeast. So, you just take this and you smear it on top of a little piece of bread. I mean little. Unless you have like a giant colony, they'll likely form smaller clusters, and then you feed a teeny little piece of bread. Even if it's a larger cluster, you don't want to get bigger than like a quarter. Otherwise, they may not eat that all within like 2 days. And it's a moist culture. It'll get gross and moldy or fungusy. So, I'm going to add some more yogurt to this, but you'll have a delicious yellowy yogurt oat yeast mixture. And you smear it on bread, put it on top of your little worm pile. Preferably have a sheet of plastic over them where you're feeding, and your worms will climb up over their food onto the plastic. Makes harvesting easier. And I don't know, since I added the oats, I can't remember, I think a white worm recipe inspired me to add the oats. It really does help. It helps keep them fed longer. Doesn't really preserve it, but it keeps it a little drier. And they just eat it up. Yum. Enjoy feeding your worms. This is what your slices of bread with your yogurt mixture should look like. There's the largest ones are $0.25 coin, just around that size. And the smaller pieces are for my smaller new tubs, or new small sized cultures I sell. And these are for my big one in the numerous large worm piles I have for my 2 big cultures. And then those are for the more established small cultures for eating.